Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Happenings Now. I'm your host, Jennifer Dunn, and today we are going to talk about the Connections newsletter and the other activities that will be happening here at the South Centers. We'll also be speaking with my co-host, Bradford Sherman. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to Happenings Now. Joining me is Bradford Sherman, my co-host, and we're going to discuss the Connections newsletter.
Jennifer, it's a pleasure as always to be on your program here, Happenings Now. And one of my things I come on here most often is to talk about the Connections newsletter because I make it, editor, creator, whatever it is you want to call. I make it quarterly here at the South Centers, and the function of it is to just let everybody know kind of what's going on here at South Centers, and this is really cool. I got this remote control, there we are, and I am going to be able to actually take you through the newsletter as Patrick has it up on our screen there, and we're just going to kind of browse it together and talk about what's going on.
And this is the first time for this technology?
I think it's the first time we've had it working this well. So.
Well, please. I've got to see parts of it and skim parts of it, so I can't wait to get the detailed tour of the newsletter.
All right. And as I say, every quarter we do one of these, and this is our spring edition. It came out, I'm thinking February or March, and we're actually getting ready to have another one coming up here in July, so be looking for that as well. On our first page here, Tour de Farm, as I call it, kind of a take on Tour de France. This is an article that was submitted by Christy Welch, and she is our direct marketing and agricultural specialist here at South Centers. And this was just kind of talking about the agritourism conference that she held, and that was held up at Mays Valley Winery in Hartville, Ohio on March 25th.
And I believe they had like 100 farms in attendance. I know it was a very large gathering.
Absolutely, yeah, 100 farms. And I can tell you, as I work over in the main office there, we were getting all kinds of phone calls from people interested in attending this, and we were like, wow, this thing is really going to be popular. I think it just really speaks as to how popular agritourism is growing in Ohio. And before we went on the air, I was just talking to Christy about that. So she's very passionate about agritourism. It's a great way for farms to diversify their offerings a little bit. We had a lot of rain this year.
Yes, we have.
And some people, their crops might not be doing so well. How about an agritourism thing to kind of diversify a little bit and have another revenue stream? So it's something that's really growing and very popular in Ohio right now. So I thought, that would be a great thing to lead off our newsletter with. So we did that, and just kind of moving forward. Rafiq Islam, my buddy Rafiq, he runs the Soil and Water Program, Soil, Water, and Bioenergy Resources Program, to be exact, here at South Centers. And he wrote a couple of articles for us, including one on the CTC annual conference that he attended, in which he spoke about healthy soils, healthy food, and healthy people, all things that are very dear to his heart and his research that he does here at South Centers. And we also had a little get to know you about, and I'm not going to try to pronounce Jackie's full name there, but Jackie is what we called him. He was a visiting scholar from the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences, and Jackie was just a really cool guy. I don't know if you had a chance to talk with him much.
I did get a chance to meet him.
He was on with Tom Worley on one of our shows here, and got to talk a little bit about himself, but a really nice kid. Was only here for a few, maybe like a month or so.
It was a short time.
Yeah, very short time, but we did enjoy having Jackie here at South Centers the time that he was with us. Moving on in our newsletter, Appalachia Cooperates. This is a new initiative that is being ran by our Center for Cooperatives here at South Centers, and They've held one meeting so far. I believe that was down in the coal fields of West Virginia.
I believe it was too.
Okay, and I know they're getting ready to hold another one. And this first one that this article was really successful. They had an even larger turnout than what they thought, and. Let me just see what it says. They had several speakers here. It was held on March 22nd. It was actually at the West Virginia University Economic Development Center in Charleston. It was held in Charleston. And Appalachia Cooperates, I guess what the initiative is all about is trying to get people thinking about maybe we're involved in something that would work well as a cooperative, kind of getting them thinking about the cooperative model
Correct.
a little bit, and that's what that's all about. So, moving right along. Look how nice that works.
Very nice.
Dwayne Rigsby, no stranger to anybody who watches our videos.
No, he is not. He's kind of a jack of all trades here at the South Centers.
He is, and that's what
and
it's
he
about.
was our spotlight employee of the month, wasn't he?
Yeah. What I like to do, and this was an idea I came up with shortly after I came here, was kind of get a series of articles talking about each employee, and kind of a little get to know you piece. And it kind of helped me out because I've only been here for 1 year. I was like, well, I'm just going to sit down, talk to people, and do a little feature story on them. And this time it was Dwayne's turn to be in the spotlight there. And like you said, he is a fellow who's kind of a jack of all trades here. If you have a computer that's broken, or let's say that our air conditioning is not working.
If I have anything broken, I call Dwayne.
Yeah.
That's the first person I call.
Right. And problem solved is what I call it, because that's, you have a problem, he'll find a way to,
Yes,
to solve it. So Dwayne was kind enough to sit down with me and just talk a little bit. Did you know he wanted to be a park ranger?
Originally, yes.
He wanted to be a park ranger, and somehow he is here solving problems for us at South Centers.
I believe he started here when the center first started because of his agriculture background and the fact he wanted to be a park ranger, and he just kind of hung around. He's been here, 25? He's been here 25 years, I think.
Yep, he's been here
25,
since the
27.
beginning. We have 4 employees that have been here since the very beginning.
Yes.
When you come here, you don't want to leave. It's great. So Dwayne was the topic of that this month. This one, when you turn the page and you come to our MEP section, which stands for our Manufacturing Extension Partnership, this article was talking about diversity and just how important that is in any organization, and how MEP can help with that. But I think the more interesting thing to talk about with this is the fact it was authored by a lady named Dorinda Byers. And Dorinda was recently hired to be the program, please help me out, Jennifer, program manager?
Program manager, yes.
Okay. Program manager of the MEP program at South Centers. So she's kind of going to be overseeing that. And I can tell you from her interview, which we got to watch her give a presentation, I was extremely impressed with her passion and her knowledge for manufacturing.
It is her niche. She is very much entrenched, I guess, in the trenches here and what's going on in Appalachia as far as manufacturing and attracting new manufacturers, which means new jobs to the area.
Right. And really...
And also helping, I guess I should say most importantly, also helping our manufacturers that are already here.
Right.
If they have issues, if they need to grow, whatever it is, Dorinda is the person to start with.
And it's finding ways to do things more efficiently.
Yes.
Anything from production to, maybe a way to make your website more attractive, to get the word out about what you do.
To get your products out.
Yeah. So.
If you want to export, she can hook you up with the right people that will help you move your product out of the States if you're interested in exporting.
Right. And another exciting thing about the MEP program here at South Centers, I think it's growing right now more than any other program we have here because of some funding that became available, and now we are expanding. We're hiring several new people to work in the MEP program here, so exciting things
We actually have a program assistant opening and then another growth advisor position opening.
Right, and the growth advisor is still open. Yeah,
it is.
It's still open. But yeah, so a couple new staff members will be coming on board to help with MEP.
Yes.
So anyway, probably more than what that article is about, but I just get excited when I see things happening.
That's okay to see growth and see new things.
Absolutely. So moving right along, my good friend Han Peng Wang, he is the leader of our aquaculture program, our principal scientist here at South Centers, and he submitted a few articles, one of which he was talking about faster growing all-female yellow perch for the aquaculture industry. And some people might ask, well, why is that important? Why is all-female yellow perch important? And I can tell you from editing a lot of Han Peng's manuscripts, I have become a little bit more educated.
You just finished a book for him not too long ago, didn't you?
900-page book.
Yes,
I did. But you pick up a little bit of knowledge just from doing that kind of stuff. And I can tell you that all female yellow perch it's preferred because females grow larger and grow faster than their male counterparts in yellow perch. And that's why it is such a big deal when you can produce an all-female stock of fish.
Yes.
So anyway, that is what he is talking about in this article. And he also talks about a couple of new scholars that came on board here at South Centers. OCARD, which stands for the Ohio Center for Aquaculture Research and Development. I nailed that.
Yes.
Now, I know Rafita is from Malaysia, I believe, and we just call him Ding. Ding Quan, let's see, Ding Kun. I probably said that wrong, I apologize. But they are the newest scholars here working with our aquaculture program. And we just did a little bit of a write-up on them. Have you got a chance to meet with them much?
I have. I've seen them in passing. Unfortunately, I've not had the chance to sit down because I'm in a different building.
Right. Work in different buildings.
We work in different buildings. That makes it a little difficult.
They work right across the hallway from me, so I see them.
But I have seen two new shiny faces here on the campus.
Right. And that's the cool thing about South Centers, too, is it seems like we're always having new people coming and going. And it's, a lot of times it's visiting scholars from other countries. And that is just so cool to be able to be exposed to other cultures.
Yes.
And you learn so much from them. And it's, here in our area of the state in Appalachia, we don't have a whole lot of diversity.
We do not, and even I have learned so much because I do a lot of the event planning and the food coordination, just different cultural backgrounds and dietary restrictions and things like that. It's always, it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel blessed to be at South Centers and be able to, interact and learn as much as I do from some of our visiting folks. And that's a good picture.
That's a very good picture of them.
I took that picture. It's posed, but that's okay. Dr. Gary Gow helps run our specialty crops program here along with Brad Bergerford. And Gary submitted an article just kind of giving a little update on his program, how everything's going. You can see a picture of Ryan Slaughter and Peng Fei Wang and Ricardo Medina is his last name, working down there in the fields.
And I know I did actually get to read this article in depth because I'm the kind of backyard gardener, so I wanted to see what the newest and latest things were as far as blueberry research. So in the article, he does talk about soil content and what you need, pH levels. And even if you don't pick up the newsletter or have access to it, you can always Google South Centers. We will give you the web address here, but if you just remember, Google South Centers and click on the horticultural tab, and it will take you to all this information.
Right, and then that would be a great resource for people wanting to do the backyard gardening like you talk about. And then if you actually want a copy of this newsletter, we have a different link where you can download the whole thing, and we'll talk about that as we get through here. So that's it. That's actually the end of the newsletter. This was a 12-pager, and last time when we had our Achievements edition, that was in the winter, it was 28 pages.
That was a very long one.
That was a very big one, but that's kind of our big yearly issue in which we kind of brag about some of the cool things that are going on here at South Centers, and by the time that we get to spring, everybody's like kind of wore out from all the work we put into the other one, so it's a little bit shorter of an issue. But the summer issue is going to be coming up, and I'm sure that people are going to furnish me with a lot of good stuff for that as well.
Correct, because we have all the upcoming field nights going on in the farm. So it's really kind of a quiet month. The month of June is, because as Bradford said, we are been through winter. Spring is a short month. We have everybody out on the farm that are planting crops and doing research to get ready for all the field nights that go on through the summer months. And again, just Google South Centers and look at our website.
Yeah, and and once you get to the South Centers website, I believe if you go to the tabs across the top, there's one that says About Us. It's kind of like the last tab. You go down through there, you should see Connections Newsletter. You can click on that to see the HTML version, or if you want to download your very own copy and print it out, you can do that as well. And there's archives of some of our older editions as well. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me on to promote the newsletter.
It's always nice to go through it, and for people who don't get a chance to read it, it's to give them a chance to hear the highlights of what's happened.
Right, and you know what, and it might strike a chord with someone and say, yeah, I want to hear more about that than what we can just summarize here quickly. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing that we have. So, and another one coming up in the end of July, so be watching for it.
Will do. Well, thank you so very much, Bradford.
No, thank you for having me on. Hey, welcome back to Happenings Now. I'm Bradford Sherman alongside Jennifer Dunn, and we are both program assistants here at the Ohio State University South Centers. And I'll tell you, Jen, as in my role as a program assistant, I have to answer a lot of phones, which I know you do too. But one of the most commonly asked questions whenever I answer the phone is, hey, I'm looking to start a business. Can you give me some guidance? Lots and lots of calls about that. More than any other kind of call we get. And many times I'm like, yeah, sure, we can hook you up with a business counselor, and they can tell you what to do. But we are going to be having an event coming up.
We are.
That is going to play right into that wheelhouse. It's for people who are maybe kicking the tires on starting a business, and this sounds like perfect for the kinds of calls I get. They could just come to something like this and find out a lot of great information.
Right, and it's just not for people who are kicking around the idea of starting a business. It's also for people who are crafters, or maybe they can something, produce something, make something, and they want to know where to go past the, hey, I paint pictures, and maybe I would like to sell those. I've found some websites to put my product out there, but I don't know what to do. So this is actually a 2-hour workshop, and it is going to just kind of introduce you, let you know what kind of licensings you might need, what kind of forms you need to file, kind of get your feet wet about marketing, using social media, the do's, the don'ts, help you with your financials, how to maintain proper records, what is taxable, what isn't taxable. And then if you have more questions after that, as you said, we do have the Small Business Development Center here, so we will hook you up with a counselor, and they will point you in the direction further. Okay.
And I see this as being billed as a 2-hour fast-paced class, kind of like you talk about all these different things you're going to go. There's like a car wash kind of going through there, but I think that might be good for a lot of people, because it kind of gives you a very quick overview, and maybe that's the only thing you need to start making a decision whether or not you need to move on or not, right? I mean,
exactly, whether you really want to do this. Is this really something you're going to make money at? Because the last thing anybody would want to do is say, put a mortgage out on their house and find out, oh, this didn't work, or oh, I shouldn't do this. So this will just kind of get your feet wet, and give you a good idea if this is really something feasible.
Right, and and another thing is, if you're looking to go to something like this some other place, it might be an all-day commitment or something. You may have to pay a lot of money. You have to make a big investment, but this sounds like the format is just perfect for people who just want a little bit of information to see if they want to move forward.
That little bit, it's in the Tuesday morning, July 16th, and I believe it is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So if you go to this, find out, hey, this is something that I really want to do, we can get you connected with one of our business counselors, and they can sit down with you and walk you through that process more in depth.
Okay. And this is free?
It is free.
Okay.
Yes.
That's my favorite price, is free.
It is free.
So
all you have invested is your time.
okay. And it seems like it'll be time well invested.
I believe it will.
And this is going to be held right here at our OSU Endeavor Center, which, by the way, is just, if you've never been to our Endeavor Center, it is a jewel. It really is. It's a beautiful place, and it is a place in which a lot of businesses incubate and kind of get their start here. So, might even be an opportunity for people to kind of see that aspect, and maybe they even want to try to take advantage of incubating
actually,
here.
on that incubator space, it's a happy time for us, but it's also kind of a sad time for us. Happy time meaning that we have graduated some businesses. Sad time is we have some empty office spots.
Right.
So if in your process of starting a small business, if you find out that you need office space, you don't have the money for a copier, fax machine, printer, you need a physical address.
Right.
You can come meet with our business counselors and then meet with our Endeavor Center counselors and our board that we have here, our advisory board, and go through a process and see if this would be a fit for you and your business.
Yeah,
and we can start you out here at the incubator, help you grow and network so you can afford to be out on your own and have your own street front.
Awesome. All right. Well, that sounds great. And once again, Starting a Business, that's the name of it, and it's going to be on July 16th. And for more information, you can just go to our website.
Or you can just register with me. You can call the Endeavor Center. My number is 740-289-1605, or shoot me an email. It's Dunn, DUNN.595@osu.edu.
All right. We hope to see you out here at the South Centers on July 16th. This has been Happenings Now. Thanks for watching.
Hi, welcome back to Happenings Now. And I just found out that we have an upcoming workshop. And if you are a food manufacturer, this is a workshop you definitely do not want to miss. I have Brad here with me today because, like I said, I just found out about it, and Brad has actually been working on all of the media for the Food Entrepreneur Workshop.
Yes.
That will be coming up here, I believe, in August.
Actually, September. Although the deadline to apply for it is going to be in August. But yeah, I'll tell you what, super exciting. This thing really is, and I've been fortunate enough to be kind of a member of the team, in that I've been working on the marketing aspects as far as the branding and everything, and trying to get some of the social media posts ready and lined up. And we're doing some email marketing, we're doing some postcard marketing, and what you're looking at right now is a picture of our postcard that we're going to be sending out. And you hit the nail right on the head when you talked about food producers. This is called Foodpreneur School. And this is kind of a play on words of entrepreneur. Instead, it's a foodpreneur. So it's about crafting a blueprint to grow your food and farm business.
Okay, so let me stop you real quick.
Sure.
Since you've been working on this, and like I said, I just heard about it, most of our workshops, you can be at any level, stage at the game. You can be a hobby person, or you can be a producer, and this be your livelihood. Now, I think the way I heard this was you have to already be producing or making food.
Yes.
Or your product, and you just want to branch out more. You've already started, and you've been in the business for a year or so. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. This is not for people who are kicking the tires on trying to do something. This is designed for people who have an established business. They're a food or a farm, and you're kind of looking to take that next step in your business. And it's going to be a pretty exclusive group. They are limiting the number of participants to only 30. And there's going to be an application process to determine who gets to take part in this. So, it's not, we definitely encourage people to apply, but it's not going to be easy to get
But it's
in.
for someone who has already established themselves, say at a farmer's market. They already have their labels, they're already producing their food, and they're just looking for a way to get themselves and their product out there a little bit more.
You're right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like a food boot camp, so to speak, a little bit. And this is going to take place on, it's 2 dates. It's a 2-part workshop so that you're not overwhelmed with just one day. It's going to be spread out over 2 days, 1 week apart.
Okay.
So September 23rd and September 30th, 2019 this year, is going to be the dates, and it's going to be held in Lancaster, Ohio, and it's going to be at a place called the Keller Market House, and you can see the on our postcard, it's got the address on there, 134 South Columbus Street, and it's from 2 to 6:30 p.m. both days. And this is a little save the date that we're just sending out there. It doesn't have a whole lot of information right now. Really, the planning is still ongoing. They're still finalizing the speakers and the program. So still have a lot to do, but we do want to get this word out and make people aware that they need to apply for this to try to gain entry.
Because that deadline, even though this is still out, that deadline is
August
going to
15th.
creep up on us. Yeah, August 15th.
Right. I mean, we're
It'll
going to
be
be in July
right
in a
around
couple
the
days.
corner. It will be here.
Yeah, and it's really easy to apply. You just go to the address you probably see on your screen there, go.osu.edu/food school, and that'll take you to a page, and it will tell you more information as well as to a link to apply. Now, I do want to say that this is a collaborative effort between the Ohio State University South Centers and specifically our Center for Cooperatives. Those guys really do a lot of great, innovative stuff. Doing awesome work there.
I understand. Are they partnered with the Farm Bureau?
Yeah.
Because I know if you're a Farm Bureau member, your cost to participate in the workshop is discounted.
Right. Yes, they are partnering with Farm Bureau as well as our direct food and agricultural marketing team. So those three.
It sounds like it's going to be a really good workshop. I know. I wish I was in the food industry because this is something I would like to sit in on.
Right. Yes. And you touched on the price. The cost is going to be $125. That covers both workshops. And if you are an Ohio Farm Bureau member, the cost is only $75. That's not a lot.
No, it is not at all.
For what you're going to be getting. So we do encourage people to, if you're a food producer and you want to take that next step, go there, check it out, and apply and see, maybe you get accepted. And I think it'll be really, really beneficial. Very exciting. We can't wait.
And the web address is go.osu.edu/food school.
Right. And you got to get it done by August 15th.
Yes.
That's the deadline to apply.